The billionaire froze when he saw the waitress's pendant match his mother's secret. Ethan Caldwell stepped into the bustling café, the rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee wrapping around him like a warm hug. The place was alive, filled with laughter and murmurs, the clinking of cups providing a soundtrack to this midday ritual in Manhattan. Just a quick lunch, he'd thought, a momentary escape from the relentless world of finance and power. But then he saw her, standing behind the counter. A waitress juggled orders, her hands deftly moving amidst plates and cups. But it wasn't her skill that caught Ethan's breath. It was the pendant hanging from her neck, a striking piece of antique silver, inlaid with emeralds that glimmered like hidden secrets. It looked eerily familiar, like something from an old family photo tucked away in his mind. His mother had worn a similar pendant, a cherished heirloom he had thought lost forever. His heart raced. Memories washed over him, the scent of his mother's perfume mingling with the soft light of dawn, her laughter weaving stories of their family's past. Something deep inside Ethan squeezed as if a vice had gripped his chest. This pendant, this woman, it was too much, too strange. Lily glanced up, momentarily catching his gaze. Surprised by the intensity in his eyes, she flashed a quick smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. Behind her calm exterior was a storm, a single mother in the throes of a messy divorce, balancing her job in the chaos of life, burdened by invisible weights. In this vibrant cafe, they stood on opposite ends of an emotional chasm. "Can I help you?" she asked, her voice kind but tinged with fatigue. Ethan opened his mouth, words tangled in his throat. "That pendant, where did you get it?" The urgency in his tone surprised even him. Curiosity flickered in her eyes, but she hesitated. "It belonged to my grandmother. She said it was special." "No, I mean, it looks like one my mother had," he pressed, his heart hammering. Their lives felt inexplicably linked, a thread twisted in a tapestry of unknown history. Lily's brow furrowed, her gaze shifting to the pendant, then back to him. "Yeah, it's old. I found it after she passed. It's just held on to me." No longer hungry, Ethan leaned closer, driven by a need for answers. "What do you know about it? Please, it's important." The atmosphere thickened. The cafe seemed to swirl around them, muffled laughter and clinking glasses fading into a distant hum. Just then, a shadow crossed his mind, a chill on the back of his neck. Who else might want to know about this pendant? Before he could voice his worries, a man stepped into the cafe, his presence commanding and unsettling. The crowd's laughter faltered. The stranger's eyes locked onto Ethan, and a cold shiver traveled down his spine. The pendant seemed to pulse between him and Lily like a beacon. As the stranger approached, Ethan felt the floor shift beneath them. Would uncovering the truth bond them, or shatter what they had begun to build? He took a breath, knowing that today was only the beginning. "Hey, before we continue with this incredible story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Just take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content coming up. And since you're here, smash that like button because it really helps me with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who is part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact." Ethan's breath quickened as he stood in the cafe, the gaze of the stranger weighing heavy like a shroud. The stranger walked forward, and the air thickened, alive with uncertainty. Ethan felt Lily's warmth beside him, but the chill of fear crawled up his spine. He could sense her unease too. "Ethan Caldwell," the man's voice boomed, cutting through the quiet murmur of the cafe. "Do I know you?" Ethan asked, his voice steadier than he felt, muscles tensing as if ready for a fight. "No," the man replied, his lips curling into an unsettling smile. "But I know your mother, or rather I knew her. My name is Gabriel. I'm a friend of the family." Lily recoiled slightly, her eyes darting between Ethan and the stranger. "What do you mean?" How do you know my grandmother? She asked, confusion lacing her tone. Gabriel stepped closer again, his presence almost suffocating. That pendant, he nodded towards Lily, is far more than just a piece of jewelry. It's a key. A key, Ethan echoed, his heart thudding louder, each beat amplifying the tension swirling around them. A key to what? Gabriel's smile widened, an unsettling glint flickering in his eyes. To secrets your mother took to her grave, Ethan. Secrets that have deeper roots than you know. A hush fell over the cafe, the laughter and chatter fading into the background. People paused, sensing the shift in atmosphere, eyes widening in collective curiosity. All at once, Ethan felt exposed, his family's history laid bare in the open. Stop, Ethan said, his voice shaking slightly. This can't be happening right now. But Gabriel merely shrugged, a mockery of indifference. It is. The truth often barges in uninvited. Your mother hid things, Ethan. Things she thought would keep you safe. Lily stood frozen, the pendant glistening like an anomaly against her chest. What do you mean? She whispered, her voice trembling. What secrets? Gabriel turned his attention to her, a flicker of interest breaking his stoic demeanor. Your grandmother was a keeper of family ties. More importantly, she was involved in something complicated. Something dangerous. Ethan felt a knot tighten in his stomach. Dangerous how? What does this have to do with me? With a sudden movement, Gabriel reached into his coat and pulled out a tattered envelope, handing it to Ethan. Your mother sent this to me before she died. She knew she couldn't keep it hidden forever. Ethan's hands shook as he took the envelope, the paper feeling heavy with unsaid words. He opened it slowly, his mind racing with possibilities. A picture slipped out. Landing on the table, a faded photo of two young girls, one of them unmistakably his mother, and the other, Lily. His voice trailed off as he recognized the face. This is you. This is your mother. Eyes wide, Lily stepped backward, the pendant suddenly feeling heavy around her neck. No, that can't be. My mother was. Your mother was your grandmother's sister, Gabriel interrupted, his tone colder than before. You both are connected by blood. You're cousins, and your family history is darker than either of you ever imagined. The cafe erupted in murmurs as Ethan's pulse pounded in his ears. The weight of the revelation knocked the air from his lungs. Questions swirled in his mind, mingling with an overwhelming dread. Was anything in his life as he knew it real? A flicker of recognition passed between Ethan and Lily, both reeling from the revelation, both wrestling with a shared past. Could they be entwined in a legacy marked by darkness and desperation? What else don't we know? Ethan asked, breathless, the truth echoing louder than the laughter around them. What else are you hiding? Gabriel's eyes glimmered with something unnameable, and he simply smirked. Oh, Ethan, you have no idea. Ethan's heart pounded as Gabriel's smirk held court over their world. What else are you hiding? He shot back, anger rising like bile in his throat. The cafe had become a spotlight, the chaos fading while the truth loomed between them like a specter. Gabriel's gaze gleamed, every inch of him radiating an unsettling confidence. Oh, but it's you who's hiding something, Ethan. He leaned closer, an electric tension coiling around them. Everything you think you know about your mother, about your family, it's not just complicated. It's a lie. What the hell are you talking about? Ethan retorted, fists clenching. He could feel the eyes of the cafe, the weight of their stares igniting his anxiety. Behind the counter, Lily's eyes darted between the men, confusion etched deep into her features. What do you mean? My mother? She was a single parent. She never talked about her past. Gabriel laughed, a sharp sound that sliced through the air. That's just it, isn't it? The past has a way of coming back when you least expect it. Your mother was a part of something far more sinister than either of you understood. A server dropped a stack of plates, the loud clatter drawing every gaze, just as Ethan felt the air thicken with dread. What are you saying? Lily whispered, voice trembling as she gripped the pendant like a lifeline. A deep sigh escaped Gabriel's lips. What if I told you the Caldwell family has roots in a secret society? One that manipulates power from the shadows. Your mother was entangled in it. And that pendant? You were meant to be the key to unlocking it all. Ethan's breath stuttered. His world tilted, spinning out of control. That's a twisted joke, he gasped. He glanced at Lily, her face pale. Their shared lineage was suddenly a part of an elaborate game he never wished to play. With a sudden, sharp motion, Gabriel pulled out a second envelope, tossing it onto the table in front of Ethan. Your mother's last message. Read it. It'll make you question everything. Ethan hesitated, the knot in his chest growing tighter. He reached for the envelope, fingers brushing the paper, feeling a surge of electricity. But before he could react, an explosion of sound cut through the café. The glass door shattered, a figure bursting through the entrance, breathless and frantic. Ethan, get out, it's not safe. Chaos erupted, heads snapped toward the door, screams overlapping as patrons scrambled in panic. Lily stumbled backward, eyes wide with fear. Ethan shielded her, glancing at the newcomer. What do you mean? Who? But before he could finish, a glint of metal caught his eye. The figure was holding a weapon, a pistol, shaking in their hand, aimed right at Gabriel. I know who you are. You can't take him. Lily gasped, instinctively clutching Ethan's arm. Shock coursed through him. This wasn't just a family secret anymore. It was an explosive confrontation, the kind that shattered lives. Gabriel's expression morphed into something cold, the anger brewing beneath his surface. You think you can protect him? You have no idea what you're walking into. Get back, the figure shouted, eyes darting between Ethan and Gabriel. Panic mixing with desperation. Ethan's mind raced. Everything he thought was true, his family, his future, now unraveled before him like a frayed thread. The crowd surged, people pushing against one another, desperate to escape. But Ethan stood frozen, trapped in a web of revelations and doubt. Suddenly, Lily's expression shifted, a spark flaring in her eyes. Wait, she said, voice steadier than before. No, you can't. But the figure didn't listen. With a heavy heart, Ethan watched as everything spiraled around him, fear tightening his throat. What secrets hid behind Gabriel's smile? Who was the armed stranger? And what truths lay buried in the stillness of those envelopes? A tide of uncertainty crashed over him, leaving him gasping for the shore. And then, everything went dark. Ethan's heart raced as the café became a battlefield of chaos. Glass shards crunched underfoot. The armed figure stood there, a scream trapped in his throat. Ethan, get out! It's not safe! His instinct screamed at him to move, but time slowed down. He felt the weight of the moment, the eyes of the crowd glued to the unfolding scene, like flies caught in the web of a predatory spider. Who are you? Ethan finally managed to shout, trying to maintain control. He glanced at Lily, whose face was ghostly pale, the pendant trembling against her chest. I'm someone who knows the truth. We don't have time. The figure's voice shook as he waved the gun. Get away from him. He's not who you think he is. Lily stepped closer. Confusion plastered across her face. What are you talking about? Ethan is not who you think he is. The figure shouted again, eyes wild. He's part of this whole mess, the secrets, the darkness, it all. Ties back to him. Ethan's heart sank, cold realization pooling in his stomach. What do you mean? Gabriel edged sideways, his expression a twisted mask of amusement and irritation. Interesting turn of events, wouldn't you say? The crowd gasped, the tension palpable. Everyone's attention was locked on the triad of chaos at the center. Ethan, you've been living a lie, the stranger said, despair radiating from his intense gaze. Your mother wasn't just trying to protect you. She was trying to keep you from the truth about your father. Stop, Ethan shouted. My father, he left. Your father is not who you think he is, the figure interrupted, desperation lining his voice. He's alive, and he's been searching for you. A wave of shock crashed over Ethan, squeezing the breath from his lungs. No, that's impossible. Lily's hand gripped his forearm, grounding him. Ethan, this is insane. What are you saying? But the stranger pressed on, each word sharp like glass. Your father is a powerful man. He's involved in everything. Everything your mother tried to hide from you. You were never meant to be kept away from this life, but she hid you, Ethan. All this time, she wanted to protect you from him. Gabriel's expression shifted. A glint of approval flashed across his face, as if this chaos was just what he needed. You see, piece by piece, the puzzle is coming together. Ethan's world shattered around him, the voices in his head, rising in a cacophony of doubt and confusion. But why? Why would she do this? Because she was afraid, the stranger replied, eyes flickering. Afraid of what he might do if he found you. But now the game has changed, Ethan. He knows you're here. The reality of the situation hit harder than a punch to the gut. The cafe felt smaller, the air thick with danger. Ethan's hands trembled, the weight of the unfolding truth crushing him. Why should I believe you? He managed, each syllable feeling like chains dragging him down. Because, the figure said, resolving into something more serious, I've seen the darkness he's connected to. It follows him, Ethan, and now it's coming for you. A slow murmur swept through the cafe, people shifting nervously, the fear palpable. His heart raced, a quick drum against his ribcage. What do you want? The man shifted, eyes darting gluttonously between Ethan and Gabriel. I want you to run, now. But before Ethan could respond, the room went dead silent. The lights flickered, and then, boom, gunshots rang out, loud and chaotic, echoing off the cafe walls. Ethan instinctively pulled Lily to the ground, instinct taking over. The crowd erupted into screams, scattering like leaves in a windstorm. He felt the weight of her body pressed against him, the warmth of her breath, shaky against his ear as chaos enveloped them. Adrenaline surged, drowning out the screams, pumping life into his limbs. He had to protect her, had to know she was safe. But then he noticed Gabriel, standing still as stone, utterly unfazed. A sinister smile creeping across his lips. Looks like the past is finally catching up, he said softly, almost to himself. Ethan's eyes darted from Lily to Gabriel, and then back, uncertainty spiraling in his gut. What the hell was happening? Where did this leave them? As he looked around, the cafe turned into a scene of pandemonium, shadows darting as fear blanketed the air. And in that moment, all he could think was, how deep did this rabbit hole go? What truths lay buried, waiting to be unearthed? Were they about to find out just how close to danger they were? Ethan's heart raced as chaos erupted around him. Glass shattered, screams pierced the air. He felt Lily press against him, her breath warm yet shaky, grounding him in this storm of confusion. In the frenzy, he barely registered Gabriel's sardonic smile, as if he reveled in the madness unfurling right before them. Get down, the armed figure shouted again, his voice cracking under the weight of fear. Run! Who sent you? Ethan yelled back, head spinning, desperate for clarity. What do you know? But just as the words left his lips, the cafe's entrance exploded inward with a blinding flash. An ear-shattering roar filled the space, a cacophony of fire, smoke, and confusion. Flames billowed, licking at the walls, swallowing the daylight, and cutting through panic with a sharp, cruel edge. Lily gasped, instinctively grabbing Ethan's arm tighter. What's happening? The gunman staggered backward, eyes wide, terrified. No, they're here. Ethan spun around, confusion flickering in his gut. He could feel the ground shifting beneath them, reality warping with the intensity of the flames. Those who hadn't fled were now frozen, eyes wide, faces drained of color. Time seemed to freeze, a surreal snapshot of horror burning itself into his memory. Ethan, we have to leave, Lily screamed, her voice barely piercing through the chaos. But then, out of the smoke, another figure emerged, a silhouette against the flames. tall, commanding. Ethan's breath hitched as he recognized the familiar stride, the set of the shoulders. It was a shadow he thought he'd buried beneath layers of memories. "Dad?" His voice cracked, disbelief flooding his veins. "Ethan, get out of here, now!" his father shouted, urgency lacing his words. The realization hit like a physical blow. No, it couldn't be. It felt like a punch to the gut, a wave of emotions crashing over him, turning confusion into shocking clarity. This was the man he had assumed was lost forever, a ghost haunting his past. "Why are you here?" Ethan whispered, heart racing. Why now? But his father didn't have time to answer. A flash of danger sparked in his eyes, scanning the cafe. "I had to find you. It's not safe. Not for you. Not for Lily." The weight of his words sank deep. Lily, his mind raced, piecing together the revelation. She was part of this twisted existence. Their families were intertwined in ways that made the ground beneath Ethan feel like quicksand. "Who are those people?" Ethan shouted. "What do they want?" "Everything," his father replied, glancing at Gabriel, who now bore a smug grin. "They want control, and you're a key part of it." "Key?" Ethan echoed, memories flooding back. The pendant, the hidden truths. But then, with a sudden movement, Gabriel reached into his coat, the smile on his face turning sinister as he pulled out a dagger, gleaming in the dim light. "You think you're safe, Ethan? Your father's lies catch up to you both now. After all this time, the bloodline is what they want." "Away from him!" Lily shouted, stepping in front of Ethan, fear evident in her eyes. "Lily, no!" Ethan tried to reach for her, but it was too late. In the chaos, time warped again. The flames drew closer, curling toward them like grasping fingers, and in a heartbeat, everything shifted. The dagger flashed through the air. "No!" Ethan roared, lunging forward, but the sound of glass shattering was overtaken by an earth-shaking explosion. The cafe heaved, the walls splintering, collapsing around them. Everything dissolved into screams, darkness, and flame, swallowing hope in an instant. As debris fell, Ethan felt a piercing pain in his chest, his breath choking, the world going dark. In that moment, struggling to hold on to reality, one thought clawed at him like a desperate plea. What if the only truth that mattered just slipped through his fingers? Ethan's vision blurred, the world fading into indistinct shapes and colors. Heat wrapped around him like a blanket of doom, wrapping tighter with every second. He tried to breathe, but the smoke clawed at his throat, igniting panic. He felt the ground buckle under him, uncertainty swirling like the flames. Then, a sudden wave of cold washed over him. A hand, strong, firm, gripped his arm and yanked him sideways. Threads of panic twisted into hope as he realized it was his father. "This way." With a surge of adrenaline, Ethan stumbled forward, dragging Lily with him. But just as they reached the back exit, a sharp crack echoed. Through the chaos, a gunshot, deafening against the roar of desperation. Instinctively, Ethan turned, desperately searching for the source, for Gabriel, for safety, but the flames danced around them, mocking. Lily's grip never loosened. "Ethan, let's go." And then, everything shifted again. In the chaos, the sound of shattering glass resonated, and a girl about Ethan's age, leaped through the shattered window, landing on the ground like a cat. Her eyes were wild, and they locked onto Ethan's. "Get everyone out," she yelled. "We're under attack." "Who are you?" Ethan shouted back, confusion swirling with urgency. But as she sprinted past, her foot caught on something, an unseen wire. She toppled forward, the gun clattering from her hand, spinning to the ground. Gabriel's grin faded, morphing into something darker. "Now you've really messed up," he roared, lunging towards her. Time slowed. Ethan felt his heart drop. "No!" he shouted, rushing forward. But Lily held on to him, fear paralyzing her movements. "Ethan, we need to go," she cried. "I can't leave her." He wrenched away from Lily, determination coursing through him. Gabriel had reached the girl, a cold fury igniting in his eyes. "You should have known better," he spat, raising his hand. Then, Chaos erupted again. The girl flicked a switch on her wrist, and a wave of blinding light surged through the café, washing over everyone. For a split second, it felt euphoric. Brightness swallowed the darkness, and all screams halted in shock. When the light dimmed, everything had changed. Ethan blinked. Gabriel lay sprawled on the floor, visibly shaken, as if the light had stolen his strength. The girl was now standing tall, her face serious but resolute. "Ethan," she said, her voice steady, calm against the storm, "you have to trust me. They're after you because you're special. You didn't just inherit your mother's legacy. You are part of something bigger." Ethan felt the weight of her words. "What do you mean? What am I?" Before she could reply, a guttural roar sliced through the air. The entrance exploded open once more, and in walked a hulking figure clad in dark tactical gear, a sinister mask obscuring his face. He scanned the chaos, eyes locking onto Ethan, like a predator on its prey. "You should have left well enough alone, Caldwell," the figure snarled, voice distorted. "Who the hell are you?" Ethan demanded, heart racing. But then the girl stepped forward, her demeanor shifting from ally to warrior in an instant. "The truth is, Ethan, you were never just your mother's son. You are part of a lineage far more powerful, and they want to control you." "What lineage?" Ethan gasped. But the answers fell just out of reach. Gabriel groaned from the ground, scrambling back to his feet, eyes wild with realization. "No, it can't be. They knew this would happen. They send him to gather you both." A sickening knot twisted in Ethan's stomach. "Gather us for what? Call it." "An initiation," the masked figure sneered, stepping forward, shadow engulfing Ethan and Lily. "And you're the chosen ones. You have no idea the power you both hold." Everything Ethan once believed shattered into fragments, confusion layering itself over dread. He looked at Lily, searching for answers in her frightened eyes. But she was just as lost as he was. "Run!" the girl yelled, pushing them toward the back exit as the masked figure lunged. Ethan's mind raced. Where was the way out? What truth lay ahead? And how deep did this rabbit hole really go? They darted to the door, but the figure was faster. In a split second, everything went silent. The sound of a gunshot rang out, echoing, piercing, final. Ethan turned, heart in his throat, just in time to see the girl collapse, her eyes wide, shock plastered on her face. "No!" Ethan screamed, drowning in unending despair. And in that moment, realization flooded over him like a cascading wave of ice. What if she wasn't just a stranger? What if she was part of a conspiracy that would unravel everything he thought he knew about his family, his father, and himself? He felt Lily's hand go cold. "Ethan." Her voice trembled, each word dragging him closer to the edge. The cafe felt like a battlefield, with secrets hovering over them like a noose. He had to know. "Who are you?" he murmured, eyes wild. Lily looked like she might collapse, but Ethan felt a flicker of something fierce and burning deep inside him. Would he choose to run or fight as the truth unraveled around them? Just as he pondered, another gunshot shattered the stillness, and in the next breath, he could have sworn he heard laughter. Ethan's heart raced in the chaos, the cafe a whirlpool of confusion and fear. He felt Lily's grip tighten, her face pale as the girl fell, the gunshot echoing in his mind. The flames flickered, illuminating the horror around them, twisting everything into shadows. "Get her up," Ethan shouted, racing toward the girl sprawled on the ground. But before he could reach her, the masked figure stepped forward, a predatory gleam in his eyes. "No one moves." Ethan's fists clenched. "Get away from her." But just then, out of nowhere, the girl, miraculously, let out a soft groan. Instinctively, he dropped beside her, cradling her head. "Are you okay? What happened?" I'm fine," she breathed, although her face was ashen. Her eyes flickered with something fierce. "Just keep moving." "No," Ethan insisted, fear clawing at him. "You're hurt." But she shook her head, still staring at the masked figure. Lily's voice broke through. "Ethan, we have to go. Now, panic reigned in her voice, grounding him as danger loomed. "Go, get out," the girl shouted, pointing toward the exit, voice filled with urgency. But a low growl cut through the chaos, and Ethan's world flipped upside down. "You can't escape," the creature emerged. No longer a figure, but a hulking beast, skin like blackened steel, eyes glowing ominously. "Run!" He pulled Lily back, heart hammering in his chest. But the girl stood her ground, shifting into something more defiant. "You think this is a game? You don't know what you're up against. Then tell me," Ethan yelled, crashing frustration meeting the rapid beat of their reality. The girl's gaze shifted. "It's bigger than you know. Bigger than all of us." As the beast lunged, something in Ethan snapped. "What are you?" The roar of chaos faded as if the world had gone silent, all focus compressing into that singular moment. Then she gasped, a realization flashing across her face. You don't understand." Before she could finish, the beast crashed through a table, sending fragments flying. It didn't just look monstrous, it felt like darkness itself made flesh. Ethan stumbled back, adrenaline pumping through his veins, but the girl remained fixed, unyielding. "You must know the truth about your lineage," she shouted, voice rising over the din. "They'll stop at nothing to keep secrets buried, even if it's with blood." The weight of her words crashed over him, heavy and suffocating. "Blood? Your father, Ethan. He isn't just your father. He's the mastermind. He created this nightmare." Shock ran through him like ice water. His chest tightened, the world spinning. Everything he thought he knew flipped. "No, my father would never." "Wouldn't he?" she urged, urgency lacing her voice. "He played everyone against each other. This is all part of a larger plan. To keep the bloodline intact." Lily's eyes widened, disbelief painting her features. "Ethan, what if she's right?" Before he could respond, the beast let out a spine-chilling roar, and with it, the ground beneath them trembled. It was too much. A flood of revelations crashing in. "No," Ethan shouted, instinct washing over him. "We have to protect each other." As he grasped for answers, another voice broke through. "Ethan." It was his father, appearing from the smoke, face tight, features hardening. "Get away from her. She's part of it." The truth sliced through Ethan. "Part of what?" "Part of the betrayal," his father roared, as if the words burned his throat. "You don't know what you're getting into. You're in danger." But Ethan couldn't swallow the reality. "You made this. You've kept us in the dark." The world shattered around him as the masked figure lunged at his father, and chaos erupted once again. In the frenzy, the girl stumbled, grabbing Ethan's arm. "You need to trust me." Just then, the room exploded with light, the blinding glare knocking him backward. As he hit the ground, a deafening silence fell, everything frozen in place. He blinked, dazed, and when the light dimmed, everything had changed. The café was gone, replaced by an endless void-like space. Ethan's heart dropped. What just happened? Lily gasped beside him, bewilderment etching her features. Then the girl stepped forward, her eyes shining with something strange. "Welcome to the real game, Ethan. It's time you knew everything." Before he could respond, her expression shifted, revealing a chilling smile. "You were never just a pawn. You were meant to be the king." And as the words echoed around them, a realization dawned, seemingly endless, clutching him in its grip. What did that mean? What lay ahead? The stakes had transformed. Everything felt like it had unraveled into a new form of chaos, revealing a path he never anticipated. Ethan blinked in disbelief, the girl's words swirling around him like a tempest. "You were meant to be the king," echoed in his mind. But before he could process it, the ground shuddered beneath him. Lily's hand tightened on his arm, her breathing rapid with fear. "What does she mean?" Her voice quivered, but there was an intensity behind her question, an urgency that struck Ethan like a lightning bolt. The girl stepped closer, determination etched on her face. "You have a power within you, Ethan. It's not just blood. It's destiny." Before he could respond, The masked figure lunged for them again, a beast in the shadow. The girl reacted with lightning speed, but this time the attack wasn't directed at Ethan. She shot a blast of energy, shimmering like lightning, and with a burst, the figure was thrown back, crashing into a wall. Now, wanted to move, but something pulled him back, a strange weight pressing down on him. The cafe's reality flickered, turned ghost-like, and memories spilled from somewhere deep within. Images of his childhood, flickers of laughter, and glimpses of a mother he barely remembered twisted with darkness, defeating him. "Ethan, come on," Lily urged, panic coursing through her. But he felt rooted to the spot, confusion spiraling around him again like a whirlwind. Then, without any warning, the girl's eyes changed. A deep fire ignited within them, and she took a step closer. "I have to tell you something. Something I never expected to reveal." The air thickened, and Ethan's heart raced. "What? What is it?" His voice trembled, but before the girl could speak, a crack echoed through the haze. The masked figure had returned, and he was not alone. Behind him stood another person, his father, eyes dark and filled with fury, a storm brewing within. "No, you can't let her do this." Ethan's chest tightened, the conflict crashing down like waves against the shore. "Dad, what the hell is happening? Get away from her," his father roared, as the masked figure grinned, reveling in the chaos. "No," the girl shouted, stepping forward, defiance radiating from her body. "It's too late for you to save him." "What do you mean?" Ethan rasped, the truth teetering dangerously close to the surface. Then came the twist. The figure behind his father slowly removed his mask, revealing a familiar face. Ethan's breath hitched. No. The memories clicked into place. His childhood, the laughter, the family stories. "My brother, I thought you were dead." The reality crashed over him like a wave. "You were never lost," Ethan said, a sickening realization settling in. "You were here, hidden, tangled in all of this." "Yes," his brother responded, voice laced with bitterness, remorse lost somewhere in the depths of his gaze. "All this time, you were the one kept in the dark. Mom did it to protect you. But I'm here now, to take my place." "Why?" Ethan felt the weight in his chest lift, replaced with a sharp pain in his gut. "Why would you come here now?" Before his brother could answer, a blinding flash burst across the room, consuming everything in its path. Ethan shielded his eyes, the world erupting in chaos once more. Lily screamed, her voice slicing through the blinding light. "Ethan!" When he opened his eyes, they were no longer in the cafe. They stood in a vast, empty space, colors swirling violently. Dread wrapped around him like a vine, choking out the air. "What just happened?" Ethan uttered, heart racing. His brother stood before him, confusion and something larger swimming behind his eyes. "You don't understand. They want us both. Together." Then, with a sudden intensity, the girl stepped forward. "And it's not just about secrets anymore. It's about power, the kind that can change the world. You need to choose." "But choose what?" Ethan's mind spun, and just before he could grasp it, he felt an undercurrent of something darker fester within him, stirring awake. Something that felt as if it had been buried for too long. A voice whispered in the depths of his consciousness, urging him forward. Would he embrace the darkness lurking just beneath the surface? "Ethan," Lily said softly, pulling him from the brink. "Whatever it is, we face it together." And in that moment, everything shifted. Relationships, reality, these were no longer defined by who they were, but by who they could become. But as Ethan stood there, heart pounding, staring at his brother and Lily, one choice drifted heavily in the air, waiting to be claimed. Would he delve into the darkness to uncover the truth? What awaited them on the other side of that decision? Ethan felt the weight of the moment pressing down on him, a storm brewing in his heart. The words hung in the air, charging the atmosphere with anticipation. "It's not just blood, it's destiny." His brother stood there, eyes fierce. "They'll come for you both, Ethan. They'll stop at nothing to ensure their plans succeed." The truth was like a punch to the gut, powerful and disorienting. "What do you know?" Ethan practically whispered. Before his brother could answer, the air shimmered and twisted. The ground shook violently beneath them, and with a crash, the realm around them cracked like glass. "Hold on," the girl shouted, her voice commanding, drawing their attention back. But as if on cue, the masked figure surged forward, spurred by chaos. "You think you can escape?" he bellowed, the hate dripping from every word. Then, just as the figure reached, the space exploded in blinding light, swallowing them whole. Suddenly, Ethan found himself in a different place. They were standing in a vast, eerie hall, its walls glistening with an otherworldly sheen. Shapes danced in the shadows, flickering like whispers, coming alive. Unreal. "Where are we?" Lily breathed, eyes wide. "I don't know," Ethan admitted, fear pooling in his stomach. "But we need to find a way out." His brother shook his head, panic etched on his features. "No, we have to accept this. We're part of something bigger." And then, the girl stepped forward, her expression a mix of courage and dread. "This is the nexus." A collective gasp rose. "The what?" Ethan asked, confusion rising like bile. "It's a convergence point for all realities, and it's where your father's plans will manifest," she replied, urgency lacing her words. "He's connected to everything, Ethan. He's manipulating forces you can't even begin to understand." "What does that mean?" Ethan shook his head, his heart racing, but before she could reply, an ear-splitting crack echoed through the halls. Suddenly, the masked figure materialized behind them, a dark expression twisting his features. "You're not getting out." He thrust a hand forward, and a pulsating energy surged toward them, bright and aggressive. "Ethan, look out," Lily shouted, pushing him aside, just in time. The energy exploded against the wall, shards of light scattering like shrapnel. But it wasn't just a wake-up call. From the rubble, something emerged, an orb, pulsating quietly, glowing with an eerie brilliance. Frozen, Ethan reached out tentatively. "What is that?" It's his power," the girl stammered, and his brother's eyes widened. "Together, you can harness it." But confusion seeped in again, clouding Ethan's mind. "Harness it? Why? Why me? Our lives? Everything we know. It all ties back to you," his brother said, desperation twisting his words. "You're the key." Then it hit him. The girl, the masked figure, his family. The truth hung like a dark fog, suffocating yet electrifying. But before he could process it all, a sound shattered through the tension. A voice, familiar yet chilling, echoed in the air. "Ethan, my son." Ethan whipped around to find a figure emerging from the shadows. It was his father, but something in his presence felt different. Darker. Underneath the confidence, there was something sinister. "What have you done?" Ethan felt his voice tremble, shock flooding him. His father smirked, darkness swirling in his eyes. "I needed you to see, Ethan. This is only the beginning. You were never meant to be just a pawn. You were destined for power." "Power?" Ethan choked, resisting the dread that clawed at him. "You've lied to me. You've kept everything hidden. That was to protect you." His father snapped back. But there was a hint of something else simmering just beneath the surface. As the tension swelled, Ethan felt a jolt of realization surge inside him. "You're the reason people are being hurt. You're the one seeking control." But just as their eyes locked, the girl turned sharply. "Ethan, you inherited more than just a legacy. You inherited a choice." "Choose what?" he pressed, fear consuming him. And then, just as everything seemed to hang in a delicate balance, a fierce light burst from the orb, enveloping them all. When the glow faded, the revelation was staggering. Lily gasped, her hand to her mouth. "Ethan, look!" Ethan turned to see his father, no longer a man, but a swirling mass of darkness, laughter echoing in the hollow space. You think you can defy destiny? Time froze around them. The figure they'd thought was a villain was merely a puppet, and the true enemy stood before them, hiding in plain sight. Ethan's world shattered. What have you done? But then, silence fell. A flicker of understanding sparked deep within him, stronger than ever. Every choice led to this moment, an unseen force drawing them all into a tangled web. As the reality blurred again, Ethan felt the pulse of power wrap around him, a choice lying just beyond reach. Would he embrace or break free from this destiny? Everything hung on the precipice, and the darkness loomed ever closer. Ethan stood at the edge of the swirling chaos. The remnants of the café behind them morphed into a haunting backdrop of shadows and memories. The dark figure before him flickered with menace, his father's sinister smirk spreading across his face like a cracked mask, hiding a deeper truth. You think you can stop me, Ethan? The darkness hissed, the chill washing over the room. But in the depths of Ethan's heart, something burned brighter, a resolve he never knew he possessed. He turned to Lily, their eyes locking in a shared understanding. "We're not afraid of you," Ethan shouted, the conviction ringing clear as a bell, despite the fear thrumming in his chest. Lily stepped closer, her hand shaking but firm. "Together, we're stronger than you think. We've come this far, and we won't back down now." "Fools," the masked figure scoffed, taking a menacing step forward. But in that fraction of a moment, Ethan glanced at the girl, the embodiment of hope amid despair. "Now," she cried, raising her hands. The shimmering orb pulsed between them, illuminating the tension. "Focus on the power inside you both." Light flared, and Ethan felt a surge rush through him, electric and raw. He took a deep breath, embracing that warmth and channeling it toward the darkness like a beacon. "You won't control us anymore." The air thickened, and he could feel Lily grasping his hand, weaving their fates tighter. The orb blazed, pulsing with energy as they unleashed everything, the fear, the anger, the hopes they cherished, and hurled it toward the figure. Standing defiantly in their path, his father's eyes widened, realization dawning too late. The collision of light and shadow erupted in a dazzling explosion, a wave of energy rippling out, sweeping away the darkness that had haunted them for too long. Time distorted as the force pushed against everything, walls crumbling, shadows fading. Ethan felt weightless, suspended in this moment that could redefine their destinies. When the blinding light subsided, a flicker of calm enveloped them. They stood amidst ruins of the chaotic nexus, the weight of the darkness replaced by a profound silence. Ethan gasped for breath, and his gaze found Lily's. Hope filled the air, a promise of renewal. "We did it," he whispered, feeling the remnants of fear dissolve. But as the adrenaline faded, he turned to face his brother, who now looked stricken. "What will happen to you?" Ethan asked, the realization slicing through him. "After everything, you're part of this. We still have a chance," his brother said quietly, shoulders slumping. I can't change where I come from, but you and Lily can break the cycle." And in that vulnerable moment, something shifted. The flicker of resentment washed away, replaced by the bond they had all been denied. "You deserve a chance too," Ethan responded, sincerity flooding his tone. "Take the path I couldn't," his brother replied, a glimmer of understanding sparking in his eyes. As the shadows lingered, two figures emerged from the debris, a blend of acceptance and hope, as the girl gestured to the shimmering remnants of their battle. "This is not just an ending, it's a new beginning. You both are destined for more than what was handed down to you." Ethan felt a lump form in his throat. "And you? What about you?" The girl smiled sadly. "I'll return to the Nexus. My journey isn't over, but I'll carry this with me." And with a sudden burst of light, she began to fade, the warmth leaving the air as her presence became merely a memory. Yet, the strength she gave them lingered, igniting something fierce in their hearts. Lily squeezed Ethan's hand. "We'll make sure this doesn't happen again. Together." "I promise," he whispered back, hope igniting anew. And as they turned to leave, stepping into the unknown, each took a breath filled with possibility. This was their story now, a journey begun, not defined by the past, but forged through their choices, outshining the darkness. And you, dear readers, this is the moment to show your support. You have to subscribe right now to the channel so you don't miss any of the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button right now to feed the algorithm and keep the adventure alive. Flood the comment section with your thoughts and theories about the ending. Don't wait even one more second to share this with at least 5 friends who need to see how this ends. Your support makes all the difference. Let's keep this community growing.